Right, welcome back. Good morning, Kenya takes, of course, another shift of gear from women at the forefront, from the one and only Safina Cheng. Right now, it's all about matters health. And today, it's not just all about things to do with what your body feels like. It's all about things to do with how you can make your body to feel like. Because this morning, we are not just going to talk about health in the perspective of one individual, but the perspective of many, including parents and children. In studio, I'll be joined by two guests. We shall be talking about the use of substances, drugs, alcohol, and self-abuse by students, also considering that right here, right now, students have closed from school and they are back home. How can we ensure that our students are safe? How do we ensure that they are also prevented from the use of drugs and, of course, alcohol? How do we ensure, even as parents, that we can be able to keep them safe? I'm joined by Emily Mukomunene. She is an author and, of course, an ambassador for the universal health care. Karibu sana.
Asante.
And of course, on to my farthest left, we are having Kevin Odwour, who is the coordinator of Balozi Amani initiative and the co-founder of Gold Ribbon Network. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Television, and at Ram Aguko. Keep it going. Health Tuesday begins now. What do you say? Now, we have been having an increase in pregnancies. Even this year, parents are complaining. In fact, it has even reached the level that it has become a national debate. KCSE students getting pregnant. What is the problem?
Even KCPE.
Even KCPE,
yeah, because
candidates are getting pregnant.
You remember last week the CS education, when the boys and girls were sitting for their KCPE, they cited a number of incidents of pregnant girls sitting for the exams and others going to the hospital to give birth and having the exams there. It is really alarming, and as a nation, we really have to think about the morals that impact on our children. And also, I believe this is because either children are misguided or we have locked them in. So the minute they get that opportunity, they go out there to venture with their bodies. It is a failing in the society, both in the church, the parenting, and the community.
You would say that we are closed up when it comes to the handling our children or students?
Yes, we are closed up. We do not speak out about the issues of sexuality, the body, what to expect to happen, like to an adolescent, girl or boy. Because like if we compare like the olden times, we used to have girls maturing at the age of 17. 18 is when a girl would start getting her menstrues. In the current generation, we find a girl 9 years, 10 years, she's already getting a menstrual flow. Her body is already blossoming. And then you know what comes with the menstrual flow and all that, and the hormones, the magnet that is sexual, related, starts boiling inside that child at that very early age. As of before, when the girl used to get 17, 18, and she started blossoming, she would get married off immediately. That is why we never used to have what we could call early pregnancies or children out of wedlock.
Because they were married early.
They were married early. The minute they mature, they are married off. Now, if you get a 9-year-old girl maturing, 11 years old, she cannot be married off because she's in school. But remember, being in school does not stop the feelings that are inside her, the emotions that are fighting inside her. So what does she do? She goes to have that thirst quenched in her.
What do you say? What is the reason as to why we are having an increase in the pregnancies that we are having, especially in our candidates?
In my opinion, just to add on what Emily has said, I think the most cases are the experimenting part of it, because the exposure of the children that they have in their homes and the kind of the activities that are going in the community that expose them to an extent life that they want to see what is behind the talks that they have been given in the schools, matter of prevention, matter of usage of the contraceptive and all that. So the most cases you find that these children, they want to experiment, and also the other part is the guidance. the people who are guiding these people, maybe there are some kind of misleading the children or because when a child has been told on, taught on usage of contraceptive in school, you will find that when they go home, they just want to see what were we being told about this, let's say, a use of condom. But now the challenge is the system that we are having in the education system that can never allow the talks on sexual, the actual sex with the kids. So those are the things that hinders the children to get the the real life of education.
But it is being discussed. Health topics are in the syllabus. We have that even starting from the sciences in the primary level, and of course even into the biology classes in the secondary level. So health discussions have been discussed in schools.
Yes, please. They have been there.
But you dispute that?
Then I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that you see when a child is in class and let's say the topic of reproductive health, and they just want to see what were we being taught in class. When they go home, they just want to experiment. Yes, please.
Okay.
So that you will find that at the end of the day, they had sex, the repercussion of having sex and unprotected ones, you see, they have they must be the diseases that are occurring from the act.
Would you say our society is rotting up?
The society is not rotting up, because rotting up, it means we are like doomed. Mm-hmm. We are not doomed yet.
We are not doomed.
We are not doomed yet. Mm-hmm. As of health education, it is not effectively or efficiently being carried on in schools. And we have to get the health education being taught, not just teaching about the reproductive organs, but teaching also of the consequences of indulgency and involvement of in a sexual relationship when you are not prepared for it. That is prepare the children for the emotional, psychological, and economic responsibilities that come with having sex when you are not ready for it. Apart from the disease, we have the pregnancies. We are talking about the pregnancies. Remember, we also have the STIs, the sexually transmitted infections. We also have things like HIV and AIDS. So if we are worried about the pregnancies, what about things like HIV and AIDS? They are being taught in school as a topic. But what kind of follow-up are we having? That's why we need the Ministry of Education to embrace the topic of health education, especially on topics or issues that daily affect our teenagers when they are growing. And this should not just be carried by teaching them about protective sex. We need also to teach them about the responsibilities and the long-term effects of that emotional involvement in a relationship when you are not ready for it. Because I think when a child, a girl or a boy understands that if I get a child, I should get a child when I'm emotionally prepared, psychologically prepared, and that child should give me joy. It's not a child that should be a child of shame. Yeah? You find a young girl getting pregnant today, she will hide that pregnancy. And most of them get discovered they are pregnant just 8 months when the stomach is bulging out.
Now, of course, there are many things that also come into place. Fear of the unknown. And of course, there was an instance whereby there were students who were caught, of course, cohabiting with people. KCPE students cohabiting with mature adults,
yes,
living together. And of course, it puts into perspective here. Don't you think even as adults, we are also playing a role in ensuring that even these kids can be helped?
We are playing. In fact, you find that most of the pregnancies are through an adult, either a teacher, a relative, or somebody, an associate. Most of them will not find it is with the boys. You will not find a girl pregnant
from a fellow student.
From a fellow student. It is very rare. It is
then
from
the
an
problem
adult.
is from the adults.
It is from the adult, because this girl will look at you as a teacher or an adult, come to you maybe to confide in you or to seek for guidance on something. And when this teacher sees you, because they see you have a need, to fill that need, they start now approaching the girl. And in the process, because this child is misguided, does not have proper knowledge or even know her rights as a girl growing up in the society, she gives in. We have heard of cases where girls have been raped and they are told, if you speak out, we shall kill you, or we shall, you will face the consequences of it, or we'll make you fail your exam, or even will tarnish your school leaving certificate. So they end up giving in and getting compromised. Also, as Kevin has said, also the issue of experimentation, trying to go to the unknown. But if these girls were prepared, then they would do something different. For example, Ram, let's take a case of girls in class 7. They have just blossoming. And you know, in the primary school, they all play together. So when they are playing together, let's assume there is a Anyango is there, and then there is a Jane is there. And then when Jane is kicking, they are kicking the ball, incidentally, this boy's elbow touches the girl. What the girl will feel in her body, she has two choices. Either to go and confide to Carol, her friend, or go to confide to a teacher, or go and confide to a mother. Chances are she'll confide to Carol, her girlfriend. And what will Carol do? That is how you felt. Let's go near him again. We try to rub a bust on Onyango. When they go there and they do the same, that feeling, whatever they will get, they will end up in the toilet or on the corridors on their way home. But if these girls were properly mentored, this girl, after that feeling, should run to the teacher and say, teacher, when we were playing, you know, when Onyango did this, I felt something, some electrical things in me. What is it? That teacher will take chance to educate that girl and say, this is normal. This is what to do. This is how you control it. That's the kind of education we need, and relationship with these growing children, so that they can be able to take us in confidence and talk of the things that seem shameful to talk about in the society. Yeah.
And of course, I love this design because it is very intensive, and of course, health education is needed when it comes to parenting. Health education is needed. If at all you would like to be part of this discussion, engage with us on our social media platforms. The hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Television, and at Ram Aguko. The ratings here, PG, remember, because these are very sensitive issues, and we would like also to pass the information in a very, very effective kind of a way. Before I come to you, how do you think we can be able to reduce this kind of issues here, whereby adults also participate in this kind of pregnancies? Adults also participate in educating their children, because the same students teaching health education in class, no, the same teachers teaching this health education in class are, or maybe the same teachers also participating in destroying the future of these children.
Let's not narrow down to teachers only.
Okay.
Let's also talk about the community itself, because you might find the people that were going to a public school, a day school, that are going to school and coming back home, who are they meeting? When they have this experience in the school, they will meet some guy outside the school gate. They will talk about, they will do such activities with the outside people. Not only teachers can harm these kids, these pupils.
Even other people.
Even other people.
Now, how do we ensure that our children are secured?
It's a matter of, I mean, people taking having passion about being passionate about the kids. Because if I'm not passionate about children, that community will lose it. Because one, people have to, I mean, have that moral, you know. We are losing moral about the lifestyle, the previous lifestyle. Where was it? Where is that previous lifestyle? When we are growing up, like my mother have said, initially, even getting married, we were used to send to the community. You are going to a neighbor and ask for a girl. You come and when your uncle want to marry, there were a process of identifying a lady who is ready to be married. But nowadays you will find even a standard 7 lady girl is married. Why? Because of the moral that people have. We are losing that moral in the community.
Okay.
So we have to ensure that community is well, I mean, know about the ethics and, I mean, educate this community. So we have to create more awareness to the people so that people know the boundaries, people know who is ready for, I mean, for having this kind of activities.
Okay.
Because a young person is not ready for such kind of activities.
And now, it has happened. More than 30 children, pupils from KCPE gave birth this year. And of course, the numbers are so many, and even not counting KCSE candidates, right? KCSE, it started just
yesterday.
a few days ago.
Yesterday.
It started yesterday.
Yes.
And of course, it's going to go on till the end of the month. Students right here, KCPE candidates are now home. Now that our children are home, schools have closed. Those who are doing KCSE will come back home later on.
Yes.
How do we ensure that they are protected? And of course, also ensuring that we don't have an increase in these kinds of pregnancies in the future.
We'll need more education, involvement, both with the media. The churches have to get more involved. Parents have to get more involved. I know parents will say, we have no time, we are not at home, we are not free to discuss these topics with our children. But remember, nowadays, the media, the parents, they say, how do we discuss about sex with our children? And when you have time, you can be able to discuss the same. And those who don't have, the others say, we don't have the time to spend with the children, because the short time they are together, they just rub shoulders. Technical appearance in the home, because the parent is busy looking for food and the child is at home. Is at home, being guided by the television and all that. Then you find grouping of children gathering like in one home, like over the holiday. And the kind of movies or programs they are watching on television, they just provoke them to experiment on what they are seeing. So we also have to take an upper hand in monitoring what do the children watch on television when they're at home. We have to find activities, things to engage them. And if, like, we are in the setup, the urban setups, where we are saying we have no farms, we have no activities, and people don't need anymore, and there are no businesses to run, maybe for the parents who are employed, then we have to involve the media in airing programs that attract these teenagers' attention, so that they want to take part in the participating in the dialogue, and at the same time teach them and guide them on the issues of getting involved in a relationship or in sex at the right time. And then also teach them the correct education, the right knowledge. Because when we talk to children, we want to tell them sex is bad. Yeah. So they will wonder, how can mom say sex is bad and she's having it? Or how can they tell us this? Are you getting me? So we give them the right education. We tell them the sex by itself is not bad, but it is meant for this kind of people, for a couple, and at the right time.
Now, you are an author, and I was looking at some of the books that you brought right here. I don't know, we can maybe pick one.
Yes.
And of course, which one would you like us to
we can do the youth and early parenthood.
Youth and early parenthood.
Yes.
Yeah, you are an author of many books.
Yes.
And I remember you made a joke here a few minutes ago that you did not do family planning.
No, we'll call it family planning or book planning. Yes.
She has authored many books here. One of them we have here is Youth and Early Parenthood by Emily Mukomunene, Youth and Early Parenthood. And of course, this book, maybe you can talk about it in just a little bit. And of course, this and just many more. I Am Not a Dope. And of course, many others. Of course, not mentioning Forward Kenya by the one and only Emily. Let's talk about this, Youth and Early Parenthood. What's here?
Yeah, the book Youth and Early Parenthood, I came up with it because of the same challenges we are facing of having, early parenthood is not just about the youth. You find even parents, adults, you get a child today, there's what they call family planning. A child comes earlier than you had anticipated. There's usually that tug of war between the couple that we had said we space this way, or we had said 2 children are enough. But mostly about the youth, it is the psychological effects of a girl when she discovers she is pregnant, and the same effect it has on the boy or the man who is responsible for that pregnancy. Mostly we talk about the girl, and what happens when you discover a young girl is pregnant. We as adults, we come out, we condemn her, we try to victimize her, we show how wrong she's been, without even trying to understand the circumstance.
End up being suicidal.
They end up being suicidal, or they go to commit an abortion. They end up even dying at the same time, or even being, you cannot conceive for the rest of your life. So they live with that kind of stigma. So we don't take time to understand this girl, what circumstances led for her to be in that position. How did I contribute as a parent for that child to be pregnant? How did the teacher or the community contribute to that child being pregnant? We leave to that girl, we condemn her emotionally, physically, and even sideline her. We leave her to suffer on her own. So the issues I'm addressing in that book, it is trying to understand what goes through a girl's mind and a boy's mind, or the man who has impregnated that girl. And at the same time, does it mean it's a death warrant? Is the end of her life? Remember, every child has a dream. Even when you go to school, you have a dream. You dream of being a pilot, being a doctor. So that dream seems shattered. Is there a way we can be able to help that girl collect her dream and bring her life back together? Those are the issues in the book, Youth and Early Parenthood.
Also to add on, when we talk about the suicidal side of it, you might find that these people, these young ladies, they might have multiple sexual relationship with different people. So when it comes about the pregnancy now, she even doesn't know who is the father of the baby. So that is also the contributor to some kind of the suicidal part of it.
Wow. Yeah. Now there's one more thing that also we cannot fail to put into perspective.
Yes.
Drugs, alcohol. Children are back home. These things are there in plenty. And of course, we have been having smuggling of these things even into schools.
Yes.
The children take them into schools, they hide them from their parents and teachers. What is the problem? We are having an increase in these kinds of abuse.
That one is generally our failing RAM.
Who's failing?
Ours as a community. Just walk from here now, go to take this Jivaji Garden Lane. On the street there, you'll find people displaying alcohol and giving people to sample. Early in the morning, they're sampling. So what makes that alcohol, what makes it restrictive for a child to take? Imagine the boys who have closed school now. They will pass there and they will go and be able to sample the alcohol. We have to find proper discipline on who should be sold to alcohol. I know we say those under 18, they have no access. But how do we control? How do we know when somebody goes to the supermarket who is under 18 or who is not 18 years? When we are displaying and showing the goodness of the Kenyan king, I'm sorry to use that example, what will make that child, and showing that whoever takes it becomes a hero. And we are displaying youth here who are showing or who are portraying what that drink has made them to be. How are we going to stop the children from doing the same?
But of course, don't you think even as a society we are having the things to do with not for sales to persons under the age of 18 years? We are having those kinds of brands, regardless of it. Then how are we failing now?
You know,
is it by selling them?
Not for sale for a person under the age of 18 is just a written word.
Yes.
It's just a written word. But now when it comes to actualizing it, it's a matter of individuals. Now, when we talk about the access of drugs, you will find these. Let's say, for instance, I come from Korogosho slums. You will find there is changa being brewed in broad daylight. There is banks and kind of drugs. They are there. The police knows. The police know the people who are brewing changas, and they are doing nothing. But now, when you do away with the person who is producing,
say they know. You can even give evidence that they do.
They know
you can't hide something being done in a dead broad light.
Yes.
Who doesn't know that changa is being brewed in Nairobi River along Madare?
But the police are fighting against that.
The mechanism that they are fighting it with is a corrupt system. Because one, if a bank can come from, from Tanzania all the way up to Nairobi, how many roadblocks are there?
Okay.
So you see, there is a system that has failed. Now, when we are talking about the children's coming back home and usage of drug, as my sister have said before, because when we want to engage these kids to get away of, when you give a child a little chance, they go outside and they expose to a new life that they are missing in school. Now, what we can do is to minimize the movement of the children when they are coming back from school, then engagement of these people, the pupil, give them activities that they can do. Activities like maybe, first of all, to avoid the mobile phones, which has an internet.
So we minimize their movement, we take away their mobile phones, we give them our own activities that we want them to do. Won't they feel as though they're in prison? In quotes.
I didn't mean that we lock them inside the house. They can do outdoor activities like, going to play with other children. but in a guided place, going for retreats in a guided place.
Okay.
You see, those are the kind of activities that can engage them together in a proper way, that they don't expose themselves with, looking at the pornography on their mobile phone. You see, when a child has his or her mobile in the room, as a parent, you can't go and ask her or him, what are you looking at in the internet?
Can't.
You see.
We can't ask our children what they use on the phone.
As in, you can ask, but if he tells you that I'm watching football, what will you do? And he has deleted it. He has deleted it.
And you know, with the mobile, you can move from one side to the other very fast.
Okay.
So if you hear somebody is coming, you can move from that site. Yeah, and then go to another site, which is a friendlier site, or the one that you have no issue, parents have no issues with, or things that are allowed.
Okay.
But
How do we reduce this abuse that you are having? And of course, you had mentioned there that there is no such thing as drug abuse.
No, it can't be drugs. You know, we say it's drugs and substance abuse. It cannot be drugs and substance abuse. Remember, if you take these drugs, the drugs will not feel the effect of you taking them. You are the one who will feel the effect in your body. Yeah. So when you take these drugs, you are abusing yourself. So I say that we have to rephrase that. We have to reframe that phrase. Instead of saying drugs and substance abuse, let's call it self-abuse.
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 So
because
if you're taking drugs,
you are abusing yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, you are the one who is you are damaging your body. You are the one who feel the short-term and the long-term consequences of indigency, addiction, and even like see what's happening to even our athletics. Those long-term effects. But the minute we put on our mind that we are abusing the drugs, then why should I stop abusing the drugs? Then the drugs can't fight back.
Now, we have cases where that children are at home and their fathers and mothers drink. They take alcohol, they put it on the table. What should such kind of a parent do?
Well, that is why we talked of health education. We cannot hide things from our children, but we have to guide them and tell them, I am taking this wine or I'm taking this beer, but remember, I can buy it for myself. Remember, I am an adult. Let's tell them the effects of taking alcohol when you are a teenager, the damage it does to your brain, the way it affects your dreams, your ambitions, and even deters you from that full development of your body organs that calls for responsibility.
What would you say about parents who give their kids alcohol to drink? They say, just have a sip, Baba.
That one, even parents need that education. Because like in the book, I'm not a dope, no doping.
This one here?
Yes, it talks about what alcohol does to a child when you start taking, well, actually from adolescence to the youth. A youth gets addicted. The youth brain gets addicted faster than an adult brain. When you start taking alcohol, when you're an adult, addiction takes in at a slow pace. But when you take as a young child, addiction sets in very fast because, first of all, your receptor cells are very receptive of anything new, and especially alcohol, which has addictive substances. So you get addicted, and it becomes very hard even to stop taking it. So we have to educate our children and tell them this is what it should be. I'm taking this, but I'm not taking now. I am taking it as a responsible person. I am taking it at this age. I'm not telling you alcohol is bad, but I'm telling you, you cannot take alcohol at this age until when you are a responsible person and you have your own career, you can be able to manage your life. Secondly, in the African context, before, we used to have alcohol has always been there. Even the things of smoking, we hear of the Luya, the bulls, the bullfighting, they are given things bag and all that. But those were things that were used on occasions by a certain age group during a ceremony, a particular ceremony. So they were guided things in the society. It is not like now when you take alcohol like the way you can take tea or cow milk. You go and buy water or you buy chocolate. So in the supermarket we have what we call the chocolate. It's rum. It's rum chocolate. Yes, and I saw a lot of kids, especially when they're going back to school, high school, they want that chocolate that is rum. You know, I found that actually it has a bit of the
chocolate that is what?
Rum. It has rum in it, yeah. It is, yeah. It's a chocolate that has been in our supermarket and it's still there even now.
Wow.
But it's written rum. No, the word rum, the child will say, wow, there's a chocolate with rum. So what will make that child stop going when they can be able to get some money, their pocket money from school? They say, because mom buys for me the rum chocolate, why don't I go and buy the rum drink itself, because we can share when we are many, and dilute it and share it.
I wanted to add something on,
Yes.
on the parenthood and alcohol and giving to the children. It's lack of knowledge. Because
From who? The parents?
From the parents.
Parents,
Because
yes.
if you are a knowledgeable person, you can't do it. It's just a matter of lack of knowledge. So when the parent is not knowledgeable, what about the kids? They will just go have it.
There is one thing that, how would you advise a parent, someone who is trying to pass some message to their child, but they're not responsive? How would you correct your child who has now, let's say he has already gotten into alcoholism, they drink, and the child, if you approach them, they would say, but you also drink. How can a parent even raise their child even to the point that they can stop drinking, or they can stop the self-abuse,
Self-abuse,
and of course, even to the, before it reaches that point
Of addictive.
of addiction?
Yes.
How do they deal with that kind of an issue?
It is where we talk of education, making informed choices and informed decisions. Because if you know that, if I know now, if I take coffee, it will delay fatigue in my body, the caffeine in the coffee. Then I'll ask myself, do I want to rest? Do I have something to do that I want to delay that caffeine in my body? So I'll make informed choices. I say, I don't want to take coffee because I want to go and rest.
But a parent is trying to advise the child. How will they advise the child?
They will still tell the child the effects of alcohol, short-term and long-term effects. Also, the economic implications of getting into addiction. And where a child says, you are also drinking, let the adult explain. I can do it. I have my career, I have my profession, I have my own money to buy. You don't have your money to buy. So if you take my beer from the cabinet, it means you are taking what you cannot afford.
Will a child listen?
Yes.
Will a child listen?
A child should listen.
Another version, what they can do is just to look for a professional counselor and guidance, so that this person can be guided in a professional way. Because if the parent is doing it, most probably it's a minimal chance that the kid will listen to him or her. So it's a matter of, education, as she has been saying, but education with an expert who is a qualified person who can, guide these children in a proper way, that they don't see it at home.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I agree. I agree with him. You can get also professional guidance, but we are talking now, before we get to that where we need the professional guidance. I think from an early stage, that's why we are saying this education should be taught to children right from at a very early age. In fact, I feel from class 3, children should start knowing about the effects of alcohol, the effects of cigarette smoking, the effects of drugs use. They should get to know those things from that early stage, so that as they grow, they learn to repel those things. They are not in their system, they are not attracted to them. Then also, let's show them examples of those who are already in addiction. Then they say, is that the kind of a person you want to be? Is that the kind of a person you want to emulate?
And of course, as you're winding up, there are many things here. I'm seeing here in this book, I Am Not a Dope. You mentioned here about food supplement as an alternative to doping.
Yeah.
Of course, those are many things that I wish we could have time to go to
discuss.
Yes. Yeah, but of course, talking about this, Forward Kenya.
Yes.
Do you think that as a country, we are heading towards the right direction as we wind up this discussion, as we wrap up? On the book, you've written here, if no wisdom, no vision. If no vision, no mission. If no mission, no cohesion. If no cohesion, no integration. And if no integration,
no future.
No future.
Yes.
How can we move on as a country to ensure that our future, the future of our society, is well intact?
We can only secure the future of our country by empowering our youth, our children who are coming up right now, because we are talking about giving them free education, but we are saying education without good health, it has no value at all. We have lost a lot of people out of lifestyle diseases, people who have been a very good human resource to this country, supporting us, just because of either carelessness or lack of knowledge. They get sick, or they get involved in activities that make their lives short. So how do we forward this country? We can forward this country by empowering people with knowledge. Health, education is paramount. And I say even for our government, as we are talking about universal health coverage, we cannot achieve universal health coverage without having universal health care, which universal health care, we are talking about prevention, what we are talking about, prevention of early parenthood, prevention of addiction, interest in drugs, alcohol and other prohibited substances. We cannot talk about universal health coverage when we are not teaching people about drug adherence. That is on health. How do you take your drugs when you have a doctor has given you a subscription? We cannot talk about sustainable universal health coverage when we are talking about nutrition, hygiene, how to prepare the foods, and to control also foods that predispose us to diseases, both consumable foods and even other products.
Kevin, have a final word.
What I can say about Forward Kenya, I mean, Kenya moving together, it's about, the cohesion part of it. I mean, for us as our institution, we normally encourage people for, intermarriages in different communities. This will bring this Kenya together because one, the ethnic division in Kenya is wide. So in our view, as a Balozi Amani initiative, we normally advocate for people to come together so that when you see a certain community, marrying another community, it's bring harmony and people are being one people, because we can't say you are from a Luo community and you see, when we are intermarriages brings people with a very huge unity, because when I have a kid from Kikuyu land, the Kikuyu land community will treat me well because they will see this person is our baby. He has our baby. So that will bring harmony and unity to the community.
All right, thank you very much. That is Kevin Odwour, the coordinator for Balozi wa Amani initiative and the co-founder of Gold Ribbon Network. And of course, I was joined by Emily Mukomunene, an ambassador of the Universal Healthcare and an author. You can get her books, and of course, she was just showing me a couple of things here with this book. This is Forward Kenya. Ensure that you get a copy of this book in a short while. Good morning, Kenya. Health Tuesday comes to an end. It is time for us to wind up the show, and of course, I give an appreciation to you for joining us this morning. A very big thanks to each and every person that ensured today's show was a success. Follow us at Safin_Cheng, at Ray Manyara, at KBC Channel 1, and at Ram Aguko. The hashtag Good Morning Kenya. For now, God bless you. Have a good morning. Take care of yourself. See you tomorrow.